All right. Moira the Boisai. Here we go. Everybody here? Everybody's good? All right. Unfortunately, after 43 days, we have to thank the Rebbeinu Shalom. We're 43 days in the base medrash. I think, something like that. Every day that we were there was a gewaldige thing. Unfortunately, the situation at Eretz Yisrael is getting worse and worse, where the government decided to not allow weddings anymore, not allow people to congregate. Even shuls, they're allowing only up to 20 people, which means that they would really want to close down the shuls, but they know they can't. People will fight it. So therefore, we feel that it makes sense to, we had our last minyan, 6:30 this morning, and for the time being, I'm going to give the shir from my house. Yesterday, one of the guys from the Chevra told me that after he received the notice from Noam that we are starting to shut down, he started to cry physically, not theoretically or metaphorically, whatever. He literally started to cry. It's his day, it makes his day, and I think there are other people that feel like that as well. I certainly feel like that, so here we are again. Hopefully this time it doesn't last as long as the time before. Hopefully this time we don't have the same amount of damage, and we get through this easily and quickly, and we'll be back in the Beis HaMedrash, b'mheira b'yameinu, and we'll all be together, and everybody will be able to join us. Today's shir, we have 4 sponsors. Sponsor number 1, Shir Greenfeld, L'zeicha Nishmas David ben Mordechai. I think he told me yesterday that this was his wife's boss or something. So it's an amazing thing that he's sponsoring L'zeicha Nishmas, his wife. I think that's what he told me. Sponsored also by Shloimi Rosenberg, Lili Nishmas, Moras Chava Bas Reb Yaakov Halevi Oleha HaSholem. Listen to this, dear Rebelli, I'd like to sponsor this beautiful shir for Tuesday morning, Tezvav Tammuz, that you so eloquently deliver and really make our day for learning Torah Hashem. Special thanks to Official Caterers for sponsoring the turning of the daf. The story you told about Amir La'akum Shvus has an ending where the individual told the guy he's 100% right, but being that you did not chap what I was trying to hint to you, so that's the pshat. So that's pasha like a behema, and a behema there's no shvus, and I have the right to say, put it on. The daf is sponsored Lili Nishmas, our beloved mother Aleh Shalom, who was from the first students of Sarah Shnir, Maras Etel Bas Rav Yisrael Shloimeh Zechron Levracha, Zechron Levracha Tezvav Tammuz Lili Nishmas Or Chaim HaKadosh, Rabbeinu Chaim ben Harav Moshe Zechusa Yogan Aleinu, sponsored by the Shol Perlstein family of Borough Park. Yesher Koyach. And finally, sponsored by Harry Shalom for his wife's grandfather, Rufur Shleima of Avram ben Esther, an incredible, God-fearing man who is 95 years old and tested positive for COVID. Look at this. Rabbi, I want to show you something insane. I printed the picture because I was very impressed. If you look closely, look at his eyes. Look at that. What do you see? I see Gdusha. That's what I see. He's one of the last generation that came to Israel from Morocco. His dedication to Hashem is incredible. He still goes to shul 3 times a day, and he's the first one in shul every day for Vesikin. He never, I'm choking up again like I choked up last night. I read this last night. He never saw his wife's hair in 75 years that they were married. Unbelievable. Incredible man who is zoicha to see 4 generations sacrifice so much to move. Is it because we moved out of Beis Medrash? I'm like this? No, because last night I was in the Beis Medrash. Look at this. I have tears in my eyes. This people, G'doshim, he hasn't seen his wife's hair in 75 years that they were married. Oh, Rabbi Isai. So we have a what do you call it? We have a big thing today. I see Gary. We have Eli Dykman. Hold on a second. Tech support. Hello. Nobody talking. Hello. Gary, if you're going to call me, at least speak. Shine, incredible man who's zoichet to see 4 generations sacrifice so much to move with 2 babies, 1 newborn, to the Holy Land in 1956. Psh, it is a hard thing to move with a little child. Anyways, a Kodesh. Vasikin, now look again at his eyes. Look at this. Now, there is one more sponsor, Rabbi Isai, today, the 5th. This is a record. Eli Dykman is also sponsoring L'schos Dor Chaim HaKodesh. Lilu Nishmas Dor Chaim HaKodesh. Is that what you wanted to tell me, Avi? Okay. No phone call necessary. So, Yishkoyach Eli Dykman for putting us over the top. 5 sponsors in one day. Givaldik. The money is going to good cause. My wife needs a new car. Nah, I'm just kidding. This is for all the stuff that we do. It actually, all this money that comes in does not cover our monthly expenses. Forget about that. We have other stuff in the building and everything else. So Yishar Koyach, everybody. We are holding today's daf Kuf Chof Gimel. And we're holding the top of daf Kuf Chof Gimel. Everybody say. I spoke to them. I think that's what they want to say, that Eli Dykman sponsor. That's what they wanted. What is that? So get on the phone with Gary and ask him what he wants from me. So, when we were doing Zoom the first time around, we were at 140, 150 people a day. And it went down a lot. I'm hoping that it's because, hold on, Gary again, so it must be something else. Hello? Right, I can't hear you. Something's wrong with my speakers. If you want, you can come here and take care of it, but I can't hear you. You hear me, that's what counts. And all your jokes have to be in... Fine, he said he might come over. Okay, yeah, so we were doing great on Zoom. So let's take this as a chizuk. As Naftali Rishel told me yesterday, he was schmoozing with somebody, and the person was saying, look, Corona made us weaker in Yiddishkeit. People davening schwacher, they're learning less. And he said, no, there's a place called MDY and they're doing better. So let's do better. Let's bring more people. We're at 93 people on Zoom right now. We need 150, 250. We have to go higher and higher. We've got to get more people. All right. So I have a shaila for you. A pot that we cook in. What kind of kli is it? Is it a kli shemalachti leheter or kli shemalachti leisser? You cook in it. So cooking is an isser. It's also to cook in it. But people like to store things in their pots. A lot of people leave their soup, let's say, in the pot and they put it into the refrigerator. They'll store things in a pot. So that storage is a malachti leheter. What is a pot? That's one question. And then I mentioned this yesterday. I looked it up again. Very interesting halacha. Am I allowed to take my chair? Stam a chair. Here's a chair. I don't know if you can see it. Here's a chair. Could I go like this on Shabbos? Could I move my chair on Shabbos? Stam. Why? Because I feel like it. And the short answer is no. You cannot move kalim, even klishim malachti laheter, for no reason. Okay, so let's just see what's going on here. We're dealing with these amazing halachas of muktzah. And yesterday we finished off saying that according to Rabbah, that we're talking about a hammer that's made le'isr. So let's say I have this pen. This pen is le'isr, it's for writing, asr. But I want to scratch my back. That's a heter. So klishim malachti le'isr, le'tzorech gufay, no pun intended for my body, but I need to do a malacha with this thing, a malacha that's mutter, le'tzorech gufay, malacha that's mutter. Rabbah says that's okay. So that's why I could take a hammer and crack open a coconut on Shabbos, even though the hammer is made to build a building and to break things, whatever, but it's now I'm using it for a heter, it's mutter. Eis v'abai l'rabbo, es abaya to Rabbo. Medoicha, Im yesh bo shum mitaltel noisa. It says you have a mortar and pestle. Some don't pronounce the T, but they're wrong. Here's a mortar. You take this guy and you crush. Crushing on Shabbos, asur. So what is a medoicha? What's a mortar and pestle? Kli shemalachti leisur. It says im yesh bo shum mitaltel noisa. So that's similar to a pot that I have soup in it. You're allowed to carry the pot on Shabbos because it has something that's mutter in it. But what is the pot? The pot is really a kli shemalachti leisur. This medoicha, kli shemalachti leisur. If I have a little bit of garlic left in it after I finish crushing, then it turns into a bowl for the time being. I'm allowed to move it. V'mlav ein mitaltel noisa. Let's say I want to flip this guy over and make this a chair. I cannot use it as a chair. Rabbi just said, I take a kli shemalachti leisur and I could flip it into a kli shemalachti leheter because right now I want to use it l'tzorech gufay, to use this medoicha for itself, for a different purpose. I should be allowed. You're right. This is a third shita in Muktzah. Rabbi Nechemya holds is more machmer. The Omar ein kli nitol el tzorech tashmishay. You cannot use a kli only for its original intended purpose. So its original intended purpose is to crush garlic. And if you have a little garlic over, fine, you can carry it. That's also part of the. But to flip it over and use it as a chair, no. So to take a hammer and crack nuts with it, no good. Because the hammer is made to knock nails into a wall, not to crack coconuts. Eisvei. V'shavim she'im kitzev olav basar sha'asal l'taltelo. You take, let's say you take this. It's talking about some other kli that it's an eli that you're going to squash things with it, but you use it to cut your meat on it. Use it to cut meat. Now on Yontif, Basil will say, okay, fine, I'll make a heter. You're allowed to do it fine in Yontif. However, Shasal Tatalo, everybody agrees you're not allowed to move it. Says the Gemara, okay, you want to get out of this? You want to say, why can't you move this, whatever this kli is, even though you're allowed to use it to crush your meat on Shabbos, to make chopped meat, on Yontif I mean, but you're not allowed to move it. So in the beginning we want to say it's like Reb Nechemya is machmir, and he says you could only move things l'tzarech, their original, whatever they were made for. Now I have a new muktzah. We're going to introduce a new muktzah that we didn't hear about. If you have spindles and a clothing press, umazari, a mallet, the kiv and the kabbat alayu, miyachlu makom. Here's a new muktzah called muktzah machmas chisarin kis. Meaning, if I have something that I'm very careful with, I don't want people touching it, I'm worried it's going to get nicked, I put it on the side, I have a special place for it. This is a more chomer dik muktzah. It's more stringent. It's harder to move something like that. I didn't see it inside in a long time, but I think the typical example is the knife of a mayol, the certain special kalim that I'm careful with. So these are special things. I'm not going to just take what I use in my factory and start banging coconuts with it. I need it for business. I need it for my thing. So I set it aside. That's muksa machmas chesaron kis. I don't want it to become damaged. I just remember Kiva Eger discussing, what about a picture on a wall, a special painting, things. I don't let people use it, even maybe a becher, but that's a leheter, without going into it. The idea is that it's expensive, or I'm careful that it shouldn't get damaged. So too, this board, this whatever it is, I don't like using this for other purposes. I have one purpose, it's to crush meat, but to flip it over, start using it as a chair, that's not the way it's intended. I have a special place for it, special drawer. Muksa machmas chesaron kis. Do not use it for that. Now, if it was a muksa machmas, a kli shemalachti leisur, a kli like a hammer, I don't have a special place. It's on the floor in my shed. I don't care about it. That's machmas isur. So now I have to decide, Do I have something heter to use it? Not heter. But a klisha melachtoi, a muksim machmas chesaron kiss. I have a special drawer for it. It hangs in it. It's in my, what is it called? The glass door where everybody looks at it here. It's on display, but I don't just give it to my child to use, to drink from. Muksim machmas chesaron kiss. Itmar, Reb Chia bar Abba Omer Reb Yochanan, kurnas shel zahavim shoninu. New pshat in the Mishnah, when it says kurnas, it says hammer, we're talking about a specific hammer of a goldsmith. Now, it means even a regular hammer, but even a goldsmith, meaning a goldsmith has a special hammer, he flattens out the gold. Rav Shem bar Abba Omar, kurnas, certainly not like Rav Yehuda, that it's a special hammer for nuts. No, this is a working man's hammer. And Rav Shem bar Abba Omar, kurnas shel b'sam sheninu. Basamim, not bisamim, basamim. The guy that he makes his spices, he has a special hammer. Now what's the difference? The difference is that spices is food. So I don't want to just use my hammer on dirty things and start doing construction with it, because then I can't crush my spices. It's not nice, it's disgusting. So I use it less so than the goldsmith hammer. It says the Gemara, Man domar the basamim, kolchkein de zahavim. If I could use this mufunik guy's hammer, so certainly I could use the goldsmith hammer. No, maybe I could use the goldsmith's hammer, and worse comes to worse. What's going to happen, says Rashi, he's going to get a little nick. I'll take it on the anvil, give it a bang, smooth it out, and weiter gegangen. But to use a hammer that's made for food to crush spices, people are very makbid on it. They don't want it to get dirty with other stuff. And therefore, just because you could use a hammer to open up a coconut, the hammer of a goldsmith, doesn't mean that you can use a hammer of a basam. That's what the Gemara says. Ve'es hakois, ve'es hakirkor. So, did I print that picture out at the end? Yeah. Because yesterday we didn't really have a picture of it. So here's from the Pirush Chai, very similar to what Yoni has. And basically, it's a skewer, some sort of, I called it a toothpick yesterday. So, what's going on here? You have a date, a fig, that's inside hay. Now hay is muktzah. You use the hay for cement, muktzah. And this fruit is buried inside muktzah. So just pay attention for a millisecond. Charara over here means a cake. Some sort of bread, cake. You see the brown guy? Now, around the brown guy, there's black coals that are extinguished, but they are muktzah. So I want to get to my cake on Shabbos. Now, rather than moving the coals away and being over a muktzah, I poke it with the spear, and then I yank it out. But what happens is, all the coals fall off to the side. Is that okay? I caused muktzah to move. Im megula miktsasa, if it's somewhat. So before we get to the spear, case number one, mandama number one. Im megula miktsasa, if I could grab it with my hand, mutar l'taltala, then I could grab it. Vimlav also l'taltala. How am I going to get to it? I have to touch the muktzah. Rabbi Elazar ben Tadai oimer toichavim bekoish bekirkor ve'minuaros me'eleim. So this is his shita. You do one of these, you give it a nice poke, and you grab it. So you're not touching muktzah. What's happening is you have a tiltul min hatzad. You have the muktzah falling off the wayside without you touching it. Rav Nachman, halacha Rabbi Elazar ben Tadai, says Rav Nachman, it's perfectly okay. Ask the Gemara, l'meimer the Rav Nachman tiltul min hatzad lo yishmei tiltul. We have the exact case, but instead of a bread, we have a turnip. And over there, Rav Nachman says it's asur. Rav Nachman, hai pugla, a turnip. Milamalo lemata shari, mimato lemalo asir. And the Gemara says you're right. Rav Nachman had to take that back. It's not true. So basically, here it is. Here's the picture. If it could come out easy, you just pull it out of the ground and you don't stir up the dirt at all. That's mutter. But if you have this case, it's upside down. So when you grab it like this and you pull it up, the dirt is going to move. That's awesome. So you see that Rav Nachman holds that you're not allowed to move dirt. I didn't touch the dirt. The dirt moved after I moved. I'm touching my vegetable. By the way, this is not a vegetable that's attached to the ground. I have a vegetable detached from the ground. I put it in the ground to keep it cold. Put it in the ground. Now I want to take it out. So if I could take it out, says Rav Nachman, without moving the ground, great. But if you're going to move the ground because it's upside down, asur. By the way, Rabbi Waxman, yishkoyach for being here today. It's a big chizuk because we're in a matzav. I know that it's hard for you to be on and you have the chavrus and everything, and there's a bunch of other people, but for you, you should give chizuk to other people that are not on, and we should all, Baruch Hashem, we're over 100 now. We have to get over 200 people. We're in a depressed matzav. We're not in the Beis Medrash. Everybody's down. We got to get together on Zoom, the chevra, learning Torah together. Yishkoyach Rav Waxman. All right. So, says the Gemara, obviously Rav Nachman had charata from this halacha. You can move the dirt. I could grab the vegetable, dirt moved. I didn't touch the dirt. I touched the vegetable. The dirt fell off on the side. That's called tiltul min hatzad. Like this ma'isa, I was talking to a few people, Talmid Chachamim. I hope they were joking. I told them about a story that my friend tried to get up the elevator on Shabbos in a hotel. He's on the top floor. So he had a great idea. He waited until the doors opened up. He jumped in, the doors closed, and then he waited for somebody to call the elevator. The problem is nobody called the elevator. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. He sat there for hours upon hours. So I said, what would you do? So people started saying, tiltul min hatzad. So go like this with your, but that's in tiltul, not in. If you hold that moving an elevator is asur, so it doesn't help that you do with your. Slicha mechila. Okay. Again, now I'm going to get that from a certain person that wants to buy me a new phone because how come I have to use my wife's phone? No, we're not getting new phones here. The alarm goes off, the YouTube goes down. The kids said the first day is a lot of fun. Okay. Says the Gemara, Rav Nachman took it back. He holds, you're allowed to move the dirt. Min hatzad. So we had yesterday the pin, the needle. You're allowed to use a needle to take out a thorn. What do you call it? Nobody's here. Shem Yirachem. A splinter in your finger. You take it out with the needle. Now listen to this. I mean, if you pay attention to what's going on here for a second, just interesting. Rava berei the Rabba. Rava, the son of Rabba. Who's Rabba? Rav Yosef's best friend. They go together. Rabba and Rav Yosef. What are you smiling on? What's going on? You're waiting for me to cry again? What are you so excited about? I'll see you tonight. I'll get you back. So, Rabba and Rav Yosef go together. Rabba's son, Rava. So, what business does he have calling up Rav Yosef, asking him a question? Okay, Shaila. So Rav is asking Rav Yosef. He could have asked his father also, Galadar, right? Rabba, Oiker Harim. One was knew all of Torah Kula. One was the sharp one. Fine. So you have now. You see, before the Gemara does this a lot. I noticed this. We used this word literally 8 lines ago. Charara means a cake. And now the Gemara, just to make it fun and confusing the first time you read it, it says, Machat shenital charara. The needle that the cake, no, it doesn't mean cake. Charara in this instance means the eye of the needle. This is a charara right over here. And you have a oiketz. You have the charara and the oiketz. Okay. I'm telling you, the Gemara does it a lot on purpose. Like you won't see this word charara now for the next 4 months. But when it says charara one time, it sticks it in a completely different context, in a different way, just to like, whew, okay, got it. So, machat shenil charara uktzah mau, omeleit nisua. So, what's the shaila? It doesn't have an eye. The needle doesn't have an eye. Now, what would you and I do if a needle doesn't have an eye? Usually, normal people, they toss it. They get rid of it. So, if you get rid of it, what is that called? That's already muktzah machmas gufa. We didn't really talk about it. We spoke about it a lot during the Masechta, but you have a muktzah that's inherently muktzah, a stone, a piece of dirt. It has no purpose whatsoever. So it's like a terrible muktzah. It's like the worst. Says the Gemara, Yilamdeinu Rabbeinu, what should I do? Machat shenit l'charori uktzah mao. Amaleit nisua. It's a mafurish Mishnah, our Mishnah we just learned. Machat sheyad dita b'sakoitz. I can use a needle to take out a splinter. Does the splinter care? Look, he says interesting. Does the splinter care? The splinter says, oh boy, I can't be in here any longer. He's coming with a needle. My life is over. Does he care that it doesn't have an eye to the needle? In other words, the needle is good as is. It serves a purpose, which is very hard to understand. So the Gemara asks, but what about when it comes to tumah? Shouldn't that be an indication? When it comes to tumah, I have a needle that part of it broke off, either the eye or the spitz, the point. Halach is it's not tameh. Even if it had tumah in the needle, the tumah goes away. So what does that tell me? It's not a kli. Omar Abayo, tumah Shabbos karam, it's not a good kasha. And the Gemara Rava says it is a good kasha. We'll see in a second. Abai says no, perhaps it's not a good kasha. Tumah kli ma'isa b'inun. It says in the pasuk the words that it has to be kli ma'isa. It has to be a real kli from top to bottom. So therefore, if part of the kli is missing, end of the story, no more tumah. Li'in Shabbos midach d'chazi b'inun. Shabbos has different qualifications. It has to be something that can do something. It has to be able to crack open a nut, to take out a splinter. It has different, whatever the word is, don't even tell me now. So fine, it's going to pop up on the screen in a second. Qualification is not a good word, but you understand what I'm talking about. So this needle has the ability to take out a thorn. So therefore, it's a kli l'gabi Shabbos, even though it's not a kli by tumah. Amar Rava, whoa, man de kamoisev Shabbat kamoisev. The person that asked the kasha from tumah, it's a beautiful question. Miliyin tumah lav mano. The Torah tells me it's not a kli. Why is there no tumah? Because the Torah says this is not considered a kli. In Shabbos nami lav mano. So too, it's not a kli. It's not a kli. You have to be consistent. It's not a kli for Shabbos either. If it's not a kli, it's muktzah. Meisvei, Gemara asks a question on Rava. Machat bein nekuva, bein sheini nekuva. If this needle has a hole or not, it doesn't matter. Mutter l'tatal b'Shabbos. In other words, it remains a kli. And if it remains a kli, whether it has a hole or doesn't have a hole, it's still a kli. Not like what Rava said. V'lo yomer nekuva mamish mefurish against Rava. V'lo yomer nekuva elaleyin tumah v'vad. You see, there's a huge nafkamina between tumah and Shabbos. It's not considered a kli when it comes to tumah. Tirgima Abaya, I love this. We had this a few days ago also. Abaya, who's arguing with Rava, but it comes to Rava's defense. Tirgima Rava alibo the Rava. I'll explain it in Rava. Begumi askinon. We're talking about the guy has a gelem in Hebrew. It's easy to understand. It's the raw material. Before they poke the hole in it, before it has an eye, before it has a charara in it. So that's how you buy it. He's not ready to get rid of it because that's how he has it. So he's going to poke a hole in it soon. But right now, what is he going to use it for? Right now, if he has a purpose, he's going to use it to take out thorns, splinters. Don't we do that also? I mean, if your kid has a splinter, what do? You take like a sharp object, or you take if you're smart, you have one of those. If not, you like make the finger all, you soak it in water, then you could use a pin. We do that even today. What are you saying? Mata has what? I learned wrong shot in the sugya. Where is he? I know, I can't hear anybody. Menachem, what are you saying? I have your phone here. No, what do you want to say? We'll talk later. A little bit of fashla. Okay. Maybe wants to talk about the booze in the back. I don't know. Okay, we'll talk later. Fine. So sorry, let's go back. We're talking about the raw material without the hole and without the eye of the needle. But that you hold on to because when the time comes, you're going to poke a hole in it and you're going to use it. You're not throwing it out yet. And sometimes before you have the chance to use it as a sewing needle, you'll use it to remove a splinter. But if the eye was broken off already, a person throws it into the recycling bin for metal. So therefore, it's not a kli anymore. Once he tosses it, he tosses it. So the difference between if it broke, you had an eye and it broke, then it's not a kli anymore. If it never had an eye, then it is a kli. Says the Gemara, Asu ve'inuko. If you have a baby born with its limbs out of place, the legs are a little crooked, whatever, you want to straighten it out, good. So when it comes to a kli, that's called misakin mana. I'm fixing a kli. There's also misakin adam. I'm fixing a human. Now obviously we're not talking about that it's a pikuach nefesh, you can do this on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. You want to do it on Shabbos, you feel like doing it. Rav Nachman Aser, he says it's Aser. It's misakin mana. Rav Sheish Shari, what are you talking about? It's a human being, I can fix a human being. I'm not giving him medicine, I'm just pulling his leg this way, that way, whatever I'm doing. Omar Rav Nachman ben Amin Allah Desnan. By the way, I have to tell you this. Very interesting. A kli shemalachti le'isr. If I have a hammer, could I give it as a gift to my friend? If I say kli shemalachti le'isr, I'm allowed to use l'tzarech gufay for a good purpose to break open a coconut. Can I give my friend a hammer on Shabbos as a gift? Forget about the problem of gifting on Shabbos. So Reb Shlomo Zalman Auerbach says, yes, you could give it as a gift. I thought it was a fascinating halacha. You could give it as a gift. Because that's the purpose. I'm giving him a gift. That's the purpose. But he says that Hashavas Aveda, if you find a hammer, you're not allowed to return it on Shabbos. Because that's not its purpose. Very interesting. Okay, turn the page. We're going to Daf Gimel Amud Beis, sponsored by Reb Fischel from Official Catering. He got so much. Look, even his email. Look, it's kedai to sponsor this. He just get all that. And not only that, Mishpacha picked up on him and gave him a 4-page thing. So he said, I'll prove it to you. This nan ein oisin apiktvizin b'Shabbos. You can't what's the word? I'm just losing it. You can't induce vomit on Shabbos. There's a terrible concept you're familiar with. A lot of, unfortunately, girls have it. You purge, you eat, you stick your finger in, no one knows what I'm talking about. No, not in his seminar, but I'm saying other things. You stick your finger in and it comes out. Or in this case, you're taking some sort of medicine and it makes it come out so you could eat and drink more. Terrible thing. Goyisha thing. Apiktizim b'Shabbos. You don't do it. But this is not for medicine. This is just that he could eat more. So why is it usher? Because I'm fixing the person. I'm fixing him. He had a stomach full of stuff. Now I'm fixing him. So too, I could take the limbs of the baby. Now what's amazing here, and again, I have to go back to Noam because he always gives me that face when I say this. This is really going to upset him. You know what's amazing? That in Daf Kuf Mem Zayin, there's a Mishnah that says, you're not allowed to induce vomit. And the next words are, and you're not allowed to take a baby and straighten out its limbs. So why in the world is the Gemara bringing me a raya from vomit when there's a Mishnah that talks about this? You know how Rav Nachman knows that you're not allowed to straighten out the limbs? It's not the exact same thing, but it's pretty much the same thing about a baby over there. Says Taisves, it really meant that. You're right, it meant that part of the Mishnah. It just pointed out this word over here. These are the first words. Everybody knows that Mishnah knows that that's what's coming. Okay. Says the Gemara Rav Sheishes, Hasam lav urchei, hacho urchei. It's not normal to induce vomit, but this is normal to straighten out the limbs. This is like giving food to a baby. A baby needs it. Omer Rav Sheishes, Menah minillah, and I'll prove it to you this now. Machat shayad lito bas hakoitz. Oh, I'm allowed to take out a thorn, even though I'm fixing the human being. He has a problem that he needs to deal with. I take a thorn, I fix his body. Says Rav Nachman, not a good raya, hosam pocket. Over there, the splinter is right there on the surface, ready to be removed. Right, we had this lashon, dam mifkat pocket. It's already out. It's already there. Hacha loy pocket. But over here, it's not available. The limbs of the body of the baby, it's not ready. You're fixing. You're taking it from the right to the left. You're moving it around. That's not pocket. Says the Mishnah. Konishal Zaysim. So we have this thing called the Konishal Zaysim. A guy has a vat of olives, and he has a bamboo stick, let's say, and forget this whole circle here. He has a bamboo stick and he stirs his olives so he can bring it to the press. He needs to make them nice and soft before they can press them. Im yesh kesher b'roishoy. So look closely over here in Yoni. You guys see this right over here? If it has a knot, that's how they learn. Some people learn a little different. A knot. Basically, it's not a hollow tube through and through. It has a knot. So if you ever looked at a bamboo piece, sometimes you have like you put water in there, it's like a cup almost. It's 5 feet long, but it'll have like a little knot in there that doesn't allow liquid to go right through and through. Mikabel Tuma, then it's Mikabel Tuma. Vim Lav, if it doesn't have that knot, it doesn't have the ability to hold anything, Mikabel Tuma, then it's not a Kli. But since it has a purpose, yes, the purpose might be Kli Shemalachti L'Isser, it might be an illegal purpose on Shabbos, but it's a Kli. Just like a needle is illegal, but it's a Kli. So this is a Kli, I could stir things with it, Kli, and therefore I can move it on Shabbos. L'tzarech gufay, l'tzarech mekayma, if I need its place, or I need to use that stick to hit my child, whatever it is. I might. Pshuta Kli Yetzu, at the end of the day, the stick is just a piece of wood. Upshuta Kli Yetz, Edem Kavel Tuma, and a simple piece of wood cannot receive Tuma, my taima, Dumi the sack binon, it has to be like a sack. And a sack could carry things. So too, this wood has to be able to lift something, you have to be able to put something in there, it should be able to keep it in there. Says the Gemara, this is like, not a great example, but like a oil dipstick. You put it in, and then you pull it out. Now you look, the dipstick is on the outside. This, you look inside. Since it has a cup, it contains some of this oil. And you look closely, is this real oil, less oil? Can I bring it to the press or not? So it actually holds liquids. Holds liquids, it's a kli, it's not a pshuti kliyet. Now it's like a cup. Mikabel Tuma. Says the Mishnah, Rabbi Yossi Omer, Kol HaKelim Nitolin, Chutz Min HaMasor HaGodoil, V'Yosit Shemachreisha. We have the very large saw. Yeah, you guys also. That is called a muksa machmas chesaron kis. Says Rabbi Yossi, I don't hold of muksa at all, almost. Besides this idea of muksa machmas chesaron kis. Here's another, this is the machresha. If you look on the bottom, it has a blade. You see that? I try to paint it in gray. Yeah? A gray blade that goes into the ground that you plow with. Nobody lets anyone use that. That's not something you're using. That's a very special kli. I have to make sure I can use it for my farm. Those are chesaron kis. Don't touch it. Omar of Nachman. So the idea is it's not just these two kalim. Any kli that's muksa machmas chesaron kis, as Rabbi Yossi, is mukta. I can't move it. Everything else, hammers, drills, screwdrivers, kli shemalachti l'isur, you're allowed to move on Shabbos. A new man d'omar mukta. But chesaron kis is really bad. So now the Gemara adds a couple of things or more than a couple. Omar of Nachman, Hai uchla, the katsare. The art school translates as a launderer riddle. I think based on what they're saying, it's like the tube, the drum of a washing machine has little holes in it. So they had something like that. They would rub their clothes on it, or they would put fragrance underneath it. Whatever they did with it, not something that I let my kid play with. A tanner's knife, a butcher's knife. Right? If you're a butcher, this is your tool. You're not bringing it to the Shabbos table to cut challah with it. You use it only in your butcher shop. So here's the chatzino de nagore. Here's the chatzino de nagore. It's some sort of tool that the carpenters use. Again, they're all they're all in the same category as this blade of a plow. Says the Gemara, how did it work? There were actually 4 people. They always ask, what happened? Where did muksa come from? Everything was allowed to be touched on Shabbos until Hanani and Chachali came along. Nechemia ben Chachali came along and said, people are being Mechal Shabbos. We got to do something. So he went to the other extreme. He said, everything is asur. Even cups, everything's asur. Now, things that like food stuff and kisvei kodesh, not. But everything was asur. Shloisha kelim nitalim Shabbos. And he allowed only 3 things to be moved on Shabbos. Maktzoi shel deveilo, the device that cuts the figs. Bezuam alisron shel gdeira, the ladle that takes off the foam from the top. In other words, a ladle. V'sakin ktana shel gabi shulchan, and a knife. I'm allowing you 3 kelim, and that's it. Says the Gemara, hitiru v'chazru v'tiru v'chazru v'tiru. As they saw that Klal Yisrael is taking this thing seriously, it's like Corona almost. Like no weddings, and then okay, we'll let 10 people, 50 people. We see that you're careful with the mask. Okay, well, so nothing is mutter. Then they started being matter. Now there's going to be a big machlokes between Abai and Rava. What exactly they allowed, what the steps were. And there's a big nafkamina halacha on the final step, because according to Abai and Rava, there's completely different things all the way at the end. Until they said, these 2 items in our Mishnah are no good. Let me show you real quickly what I put together after 7 o'clock. I'm not exaggerating. After 7:05. So it might not be the most beautiful thing. What we have here, I don't know if somebody can put it on the screen. In the beginning, Abaye says they allowed klisha melachti leheter, something that you're allowed to do. It just says if you're looking in OneDrive, it says tavla. Okay, because I didn't even have time to save it. Melachti leheter ligufay. They said if the kli is like a cup, you're allowed to use it if you need it for a purpose. And Rava says no. They even allowed l'tzorich mekaymai. Gufay and mekaymai go together. In other words, if it's sitting on my table, I can pick it up and put it on the side. Mekaymai. Then the second zera came along. Abaye says, Klishim alachti laheter. You see, I couldn't even fit in Abaye right. Klishim alachti laheter, mekaymai. What Rav already said they were matir, says Abaye, no, that took a few years. They allow now l'tzorich mekaymai. They did l'tzorich gufay, now they allow even to use the place. And Rava says, no. They allowed a third step we never discussed, mechamal itself, to save my item from the sun. I don't need to use the item, I don't need the table, but I want to save my item. Then the third gzera, they allowed all of a sudden, klishim malachti le'isur, according to Abaya, a hammer, if I have a purpose, to crack a coconut. And Rava says, they go together. Gufa and Mekayim go together, you can't divide them. So they allowed a coconut. They also allowed, if a hammer is sitting on your table, let's say you want to go to sleep. It happens all the time. You have a cell phone on your bed. If a cell phone is klishim malachti le'isur, pick it up, move it on the side so I can go to sleep. That's the tzarech mekayim. And finally, they allowed, according to Abaya, that you could lift it with 2 hands, and according to Rava, 2 people. So we have a major nafkamina here. This is a big nafkamina. How big is this kli that we're allowed to move? According to Rava, it's enormous. 2 people could lift it. According to Abaya, only 2 hands. And then we have a big nafkamina if they allowed l'tzorich mekaymai by klishim malachti le'isur. According to Rava, gufay and mekaymai. According to Abaya, just gufay. Let's see inside. Omar Abaye hitiru dover shemalachti leheter l'tzorich gufay. They only allowed gufay but not mekaymai. The chazru v'tiru, and then the second time around, dover shemalachti leheter l'tzorich mekaymai. They added the makam, that if the kli is on your chair, you're allowed to take it off your chair. V'chazru v'tiru dover shemalachti le'isur l'tzorich gufay in l'tzorich mekaymai loy. So now we're going to the next step. The next level is klishim malachti le'isur, like a hammer. And they said only l'tzorech gufay, if I need to crack open a coconut, but not if if it's on your chair, you leave it on the chair the entire Shabbos. You can only move with one hand if it's very light. If it's heavy, no. Until he said you could carry everything, move everything. It says that it's mutter. They made a heter. What's the difference? Why are you breaking up gufay mekaymai? If I can use it to crack open a coconut, I can move it off my chair. Elo marava. The first step was that here dover shem lachti leheter together. Both of them. It wasn't two gzeres like Abaye says. In one gzera they said you let it move it even l'mekaymai. So what was the second gzera? In other words, not a gzera to take away, to give back. The chazru v'tiru michamal etzel, and they said in a klishim lachti leheter, I'm allowed to move it to save it from the sun. Did I say that correctly? Yeah. Melachti leheter michamal etzel. This guy. And then another step, they started adding in things. They said, okay, now you could even use a hammer on Shabbos. If I needed to crack open a coconut and I need to get it off my table, but don't move it to save it from the heat. So now he doesn't say shtei yadayim. He says shnei bnei adam, two people. You're allowed to move it. Should we do two more lines or it's way too late? Stop right now. Okay. Noam, please give us some tehillim. Have us all in mind, and the chaylim that we have in Eretz Yisrael, over 1,000 cases a day, they should all be healthy. We shouldn't hear any more tsar. We should be able to learn Torah in the Beis Medrash. Amen. I can't hear. Could you mute yourself? Mute yourself and I'll talk on those. Amen. Yishkoyach. What is going through and through? Oh, okay. I hear everybody through Yeshua Aaron Price's phone. My computer's giving me problems again. Simon Cohen, Shalom Aleichem. It's been a while, no? We got to be mischazik. Rabbi say chizuk. Where's your phone? Huh? You prefer me at home? Okay. Good. All right. Listen, Rabbi say you can all unmute yourselves, I believe. Yeah. Push, but you know how to do it. And